Hello and welcome back to episode 26, where we are bringing KoRail to the Tour de France, hopefully in the 2027 season, which is right now, as we are a pro-continental team, which means that we could be riding in the Tour de France this season, which means that we can request wildcards for all the classic races, for all the big races, and as you can see here, Of course I have requested a wildcard for the Tour de France, for Paris-Roubaix, and a bunch of other amazing races here that I would love to do with our team. And obviously I want to show that KoRail can perform in those races. Could our challenge be finished in this season already? We'll have to find out. Obviously, these are our objectives as well. We want to get a wildcard for the Amstel Gold Race and Gent-Wevelgem, two classic races, and of course we want to get that wildcard for the Tour de France. If we get that wildcard, our challenge is basically over. We just have to ride the Tour de France, which would be incredible, and then we'd be done with the challenge. We would bring KoRail, a Korean team, all the way to the Tour de France. Oh, how amazing would that be? And after many replies, as you can see here, no Paris-Roubaix for us, no La Flèche Wallonne, no Critérium de Dauphiné, and no Tour de France this season. Sadly, many classic riders or many classic races also not here for us. So as you can see here, no Paris-Nice either. A lot of other races where, I was hoping that we would have had a chance to perform there. No result there for us, and a failed objective immediately. As you can see, many more declines here from tours. No Giro d'Italia for us either. No other Italian classic races here for us. But we did get one, as you can see here. A classic race that we got here. A wild card for KoRail. Can you guess which classic race it is? Leave a comment down below and guess it there, and you'll hopefully soon find out which race it was. Now let's head quickly into the races that we are riding in this episode, starting off with the Surf Coast Classic, a 1.1 race. As we said, a lot of 1.1 races and 2.1 races that we'll be riding in this season, as we are a pro-continental team. Next up, we have the Alula Tour, 5 races, 5 days of racing with a lot of hills, a lot of uphill finishes, perfect for our punchers and perfect for our hill riders. Third race will be the Muscat Classic, another 1.1 race, very, very hilly, especially towards that end. Very tough one, great for our hill and mountain riders. And last but certainly not least is a 2-point-pro race, the Tour of Oman. 5 stages once again, and look at that 4th stage, an uphill finish, a very steep finish. And that, I hope, or I think, will be the deciding race in this 2-point-pro tour. Let's quickly get into our first day stage race of the episode. It is the Surf Coast Classic. Plenty of hills, plenty of challenges for our riders.
Hello and welcome. It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
And as you can see, we have our French star sprinter with us today, hoping that he will perform, and many of our other sprinters as well, as we have a quite flat race, a little bit hilly, but I think it should end up in a mass sprint. Perfect here for Savakowski and Adrian Vial. But the statistics are not in our favor for our star sprinters. Only our new French rider doing really well, and our Irish rider here, Asian Ferretti, with a +3 statistic. So I'm hoping that our French rider or our Irish rider will be able to carry us towards that finish line. That would be a goal. Here we look at Lukasz Kubisz, one of the riders of the Unibet Rose Rockets in real life, and here in the Ineos Rocketeers jersey. So hoping that he does well here in this game as well. Good to see him in a World Tour team in this Pro Cycling Manager save. On to the last 11 kilometers here of this race. We have a lot of our team remaining, which is a big surprise here for me, and a lot of riders here attacking in this final part of the stage, hoping that they can break apart either the peloton or hoping they can get away and stay away here towards the end of this race. You see a couple of these riders trying to break off. One rider does succeed in the end, already 15 seconds ahead, but we have our sprint train going. 7 kilometers remaining. Energy gels have been used on most of our riders. You see the screen jumping up where me accidentally using the energy gel here for Severi, and we are trying to close down that gap towards that front rider. KoRail Christoph here being one of the main lead-out riders with his minor statistics today, and a lot of our riders still trying to get into the atmosphere for the season that is yet to come, get into the form for their perfect season. The beginning of the season used to be KoRail Christoph's main part of the season. Let's see if that will be the case as well here in the 2027 season. We do catch up here with the breakaway. 2 kilometers remaining. We are perfectly up front here with 1 kilometer remaining. I do a big lead out here with Turnbull. Big sprint here with our Finnish rider and our French rider as well. Will we get across the finish line first? Will we win our first race of the season? No, we do not. A 3rd and 4th place here for our team. Severi Savkovsky in 3rd. And our French rider, our new rider here, immediately performing in his first 1.1 race, where I would normally expect him to maybe take a little bit to perform. He immediately gets a 4th place here in a 1.1 race. Wondering how he would do in those 1.2 races, normally those day stage, or maybe even 2.2 races. Probably would be dominating them, but a 4th place here just behind Severi Savkovsky in the Surf Coast Classic. An amazing start here of our team. Let's quickly check out the Ineos Grenadiers. Obviously wanting to check out here Lukáš Kubiš here, the Slovakian rider, my apologies. And obviously there, look at Filip Ogana. What an amazing rider it is. What amazing statistics. Adrian Vial, 4th place here for our team, and Severi Savkovsky, a 3rd place in the first race of the season. Not bad. Let's quickly go on to the Alula Tour. Again, 5 stages here for us. This one starting off with a flat one, hoping for some of our sprinters to do well here. And as you can see, most of our team here are mountain riders, as this stage, or as this course is quite hilly in general. Some of these stages will end up in a uphill sprint, and I'm hoping that most of our riders, like Paul Fietske or Noah Iserode, will be the winners of those stages. Let's see how they'll do in the first one.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today's terrain is fairly level, so it's ideal ground for those who are good on the flat. The heat will weigh on today's race. The riders will have to drink plenty.
Exactly, plenty of water required for this warm race. 2 in-between sprint points in this race, but I don't think that we will be part of a breakaway. As you can see, it's already forming. I don't really have too many riders here up front, and I think it's much more important here to defend our riders and prepare them for the sprint that is to come, and maybe some additional bonus seconds later on in this race. Obviously, our main riders will be Paul Fietske and Noah Isidore. Noah, our new French rider here in the team, and if they are not really on par to perform, I'm hoping that either Jae-Hwan Jun, our mountain rider, or Owen Cole, our mountain rider slash sprinter, who has again been developing quite well here in the previous season, will do his best, or do their best here in these stages. Jae-Won Jun, our mountain rider, leading out here for the sprint. I think that is the wise decision, as his sprint statistics are not that great here for him. Hoping that he will just do well here in the final sprint, not really, lose too much time. But I don't count on him to get a good result here in today's stage. 4 kilometers remaining. I'm not using our energy as well as possible. I didn't expect a downhill section here towards the end of this race, so I was hoping to use much more energy here with our team. The rest of our team losing the wheel quite heavily here of our lead-out riders. You see them kind of still forming, trying to figure out what is the best place to be in. Noah Isidore losing the wheel of Paul Fietske. Paul Fietske not really in the best position here to sprint towards the finish line, and we don't win this first stage of the Alula Tour. A 5th place is the best that we can do here in this first stage, and the rest of our riders getting across the line here at around a 20th position. The remaining riders around a top 50 here in the first stage of the Alula Tour. As you can see here, a 5th and 6th place here by our riders. We are still forming that sprint train. Our riders still need to get used to each other. As you can see, Noah Isidore in a 16th place. not really the result that I expected here from our top riders. But also look at the riders that here are up front here with Dylan Groenewegen and a lot of other riders that are just top sprinters here in real life as well. So being beat by them, not the worst thing, and coming in a top 10 position with 2 of our riders is still pretty good. Hoping that they will perform even better in the next stages. Again, the next stages will be uphill finishes, so I doubt that those top sprinters will be able to do well there in those riders. And for now, we just have 2 riders in the top 10 that we can work with, and obviously plenty of other riders to perform with as well in this second stage. And as you can see here, a pretty hefty uphill finish. It flattens out there towards the end, but surviving that uphill towards the end will be the most important part of this race.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. The weather conditions are excellent.
Excellent weather conditions here in the second race of the Alula Tour. Again, I think this is the first time that we have done this tour in general, so it's cool to be here in this tour. And you see me trying to be a bit daring here, trying to jump away with our hill support rider, Kim Sung-bum, doing excellent in the previous season as well. Great support here for many of our mountain riders. Now trying to get his luck here in the breakaway, but sadly an unsuccessful breakaway for him. Not really the strength to succeed all the way towards the end, meaning that he just fell back towards the peloton and now will help us carry the team all the way towards the finish line. There's still a little bit of a breakaway left over from the initial one. Still 3 riders up ahead with a little bit less than a minute to go, so we need to start chasing them down. I don't think they will make it all the way towards the end, especially not with that hill, especially not with them being away for so long in this race. I don't think they will survive the final part of today's stage. Kim Sung-bum now up ahead. Heo did his pull just now. Great job here by our Korean riders, really supporting the team, making sure that we are dropped off in the best position as possible. We are all the way up front here in the peloton, still chasing down this breakaway, but you see them falter here the moment they get close towards the mountain, and we pass the breakaway, haul them in. 5 kilometers remaining, really preparing to do well here at the flat section at the end of this hill. Hoping to do well here with our team. Jaewon Jun here, now our mountain rider, taking over from Carpentier, moving up now in this hill, who isn't that steep, to be honest. I expected the hill to be much more steep, and the moment I say that, of course it jumps up to 7% in steepness. Our German mountain rider now taking over from the remainder of our riders, not having the best statistics today. Same for our French rider, but Owen Cole with a +2 here, hoping to be a good sprint here in this final kilometer, in prime position actually, sprinting away. Noah Isidora losing his wheel, who will get towards the finish line as first. It looks to be our American rider, and it is our American rider. Owen Cole winning the second stage of the Alula Tour. Noah Isidora, our newest signee, coming in second place as well. Paul Fitzke with a top 10 nonetheless, even though he led out these 2 riders towards the end of this stage. A great job here by our team today. Top 2 here for our team. Great job here by KoRail. Great job here by Owen Cole. A deserved victory here for him, I should say, as well. Really good job there in that final sprint. Good statistics as well. So that helped him propel all the way towards that finish line. Great positioning as well, to be honest. Like, everything went perfect here for Owen Cole. Really jumped from the wheel of Paul Fitzke, was already out on the top of the peloton, had plenty of stamina left, had good statistics today. Noah Isidora kind of lost his wheel, even though looking at this, had better statistics today than Owen Cole, but lost the wheel of Owen Cole there just before the 1 kilometer mark, and wasn't able to follow closely to Owen Cole there in that sprint. In the end, getting across the line here as second. That means that Owen Cole jumps to second place in general classification. Amazing job here by Owen Cole. Noah Isidora as well, jumping all the way up to 5th, moving 12 positions up. Great job here by our team. Instead of having just 2 riders in the top 10, we now have 3, and Paul Fitzke with 4 places up now and in an 11th spot. So almost reaching that top 10 position. Almost 4 riders in a top 10 here in this 2.1 race. Again, we are still early in the season. We still need to learn from each other, find each other's wheels, learn how the sprint train works for each other. and just work together better and better here, which I'm sure will happen here towards the end of this season. The more races we do, the more experience we get, the better we know our riders, and the better our riders know each other as well, which will be very important for the remainder of this season. But obviously, now that we don't have a wildcard for the Tour de France, we need to shape up for next year, where I'm hoping that our performances of this year will move on and make sure that we get a wildcard for the 2028 season here with KoRail. On to stage number 3, a very windy stage here, a very difficult one. Let's see how we'll do.
The profile of this race is quite flat. Expect a fast pace from the peloton. We should have sun along the whole length of the route.
Get another sunny day here in the Tour of Alula. Another stage that also finishes uphill, and a very windy stage as well. I'm sending out Owen Cole, my apologies, still pronouncing the names incorrectly here, to try and get some bonus seconds and bonus points here, as they are at the beginning of this stage. Trying to send out Noah Isidore as well to see if he can back him up, or try to, confuse the peloton a bit. Pulling back Owen Cole now towards the peloton to try and see if they can let Noah Isidore go here in this breakaway, but in the end there is no success for us here in the breakaway, as the peloton keeps chasing, even if our number 1 rider is back into the peloton, and the other riders not really wanting to cooperate with us. So you're joining back here now at the end of this windy section. We have pushed real hard in this windy section to try and break apart the peloton, and we have succeeded. You see most of our riders already out of energy as well, but we only have 28 riders remaining here in the peloton. I don't want to waste too much energy here of our riders until I saw that 2 top riders here are off the back, so that means that I want to speed up again and make it even more difficult for them. I don't want them to recover in the peloton. I want to keep pushing on and try to move forward here. 13 kilometers remaining. I'm using up as much energy as possible. I'm trying to make sure that some of our riders make it all the way here towards the end, but it is a bit of a sacrifice I have to make. Do I give up some of our support riders just so we make it here towards the end, while some of these other top riders here move off the back or fall off the back of this peloton? It is a choice that I am making. So with 10 kilometers to go, I try and push on. We are out of that windy section, and that means that the riders behind will have a large amount of difficulty to try and catch back up here towards us. So with Owen Cole here up front, I should be able to make it all the way here towards the end, and I keep pushing on here with our riders. You see me doubting, do I send out Paul Fietske up front, or do I send out Owen Cole? Owen Cole in the better position in the general classification, and I do decide to switch them out here. Paul Fietske up front, trying to lead out Owen Cole, who is in a better position in the general classification. Noah Isidore, our main rider of the team, now in the last wheel of this sprint train, ready to sprint up this hill and try to get it in first place here in the 3rd stage of the Alula Tour. All the energy gels used. We are in our sprint train mode. We are fully here up front. 3 kilometers remaining. We should be quite handily be able to make it towards the finish line. A big sprint of Paul Fietske here in this tricky section, now onto this uphill finish where we are getting ready to do a mass sprint here with our team. No other riders really challenging us. With 1 kilometer remaining, a sprint with wheel here, and who goes between our riders? It is some of the top sprinters here once again in this tour. The Italian rider and Dutch rider beating us towards the line. Noah Isidore getting across the line here as 4th. We were in such a good position here towards the finish line, but we were unable to maintain our position and get across the line here in a top 3. Sadly, a 4th and 5th for our team. I mean, sadly, it is a great result here for our team. Let's be honest, a great result here, but we were in such a good position in that last kilometer. I did not expect us to not win this race, but in the end we got beaten by these top sprinters here, and we got a 4th and 5th place with the team. Paul Fietske ending up in 10th as well here in this stage. So once again, I expected a little bit more towards the end of this line. We were positioned properly. We had plenty of energy remaining. We did an all-out sprint here with our riders, trying to get across the finish line at first, but once again we got beaten by some of these top sprinters here in this race. The rest of our team finishing across the line a little bit later. Again, that windy section really tore apart most of our team in this stage. The Italian sprinter now also passing Owen Cole now in the points classification, sadly, and Owen Cole moving down a position as well. 13 seconds now off the lead. Noah Isidora 15 seconds off the lead as well. Still, 4 riders, or now finally 4 riders in that top 10 position, with Paul Fietske moving up here into that top 10 position. Lanjun J 29 positions upwards. You see how tricky this stage was for most of these riders. Even our hill support rider moving up a ton of positions here. Unexpected result here for our Korean riders, which I thought would move back way more, but I guess other riders struggled even more than them. So great job here by our Korean riders. Young riders classification, obviously we are up front here in that positioning, and in the team classification we are in the top 4, still not winning that for some reason, but that's okay. 2 riders in the top 2 of the young riders classification, and 2 riders in the top 5 on the general classification as well. Let's see if we can improve that top 5 classification here with 2 of our riders into a top 2 position with 2 of our riders here in this 4th stage of the Tour of Alula.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining, and of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
And we want to be those opportunists. You see we are up front here with a lot of our riders, but I'm trying to send out Noah Isidora here. There are some bonus seconds relatively close towards the start of this race. So if I can get those bonus seconds, that would be great for Noah. 15 seconds off the lead here, and any bonus seconds that he can get would be great. But you see the moment that he gets into the breakaway, they stop cycling and the peloton catches up to them immediately. Another group jumps away. Again, I will try to send Noah Isidora to try and be part of that breakaway, but every time he does try to be part of the breakaway, they stop cycling, the peloton catches up with them, and there's just not really a chance here for Noah to be part of that breakaway. So a group will go away, a breakaway will form, and we'll just protect our riders, especially towards the end of this race. Now a little bit over a kilometer before the in-between sprint point, and you see us sprinting here with 3 of our riders here to take the full bonus points and bonus seconds here in this race. Don't want to expend too much energy, but any bonus seconds that we can get would be great here for us, and we get all 3 positions here, so that would be a total of 6 bonus seconds for our entire team, right? 3 for Paul, 2 for Noah, and I think 1 for Owen Cole. Now you join us here once again 10 kilometers before the finish line. It is in a little bit of a downhill section. You see me setting up the sprint train here. It will be an uphill finish, so it should be fitting for our riders. Normally I would also count Jae Won-jun to be one of those riders, but he has very poor statistics today. A -3 for our mountain / hill rider here of the team. So really not his race is the Alula Tour here for Jae Won-jun. And with 5 kilometers to go, we still have so many riders remaining, so I need to push on here, try to use up some of the energy of our riders, try to get up this hill, make sure that we are positioned all the way towards the front in a favorable position here for this final sprint. 3.5 kilometers to go. I thought we would go left there, but apparently we go straight here in this race. A bit of a confusing route here for us. 2 kilometers remaining, a big corner here. We are not all the way up front, so we are not positioned properly. An early sprint here by Florian Carpentier, and here is that mountain section. 1 kilometer to go. I sprint with everyone, but you see a group on the right was better positioned and jumped away here, away from us, and no chance for us to get a top 3 position or a top 5 position here in this race. Not even a top 10, sadly, as it looks like. So no good position here, no good finish here in this 4th stage of the Alula Tour. Sad, because I think this finish would really fit us, but the course in itself was a bit weird here for us. Not really the mountain or puncher finish that I was hoping for. In the end, maybe it was one better for the sprinters, so we didn't perform very well here in this 4th stage. That means that Noah moves down 1 spot, sadly. Paul Fietske with the bonus seconds moving up 1. Florian Carpentier also moving down a couple of positions. The rest of our team, I'm assuming, will also not move up a lot here in this race. Still 5 riders here in a top 20 position, so still pretty good. You see the rest of our riders kind of moving down a little bit, especially the Korean ones, the one that have led our lead out position here in this 4th stage. Noah Isidora moving up all the way to 2nd place here in the mountain classification because of those in-between sprint points that he's gotten. Apparently there are mountain points involved in those in-between sprint points as well. That is also new for us. Never really saw that before in the 2.2 races, but in the 2.1 races, I guess, But in these races, there are plenty of sprint points here for us to get. Again, plenty of riders here in the top 10. On to the last stage of the Alula Tour. Let's see if we can win this stage or win this tour in the last stage with a difficult uphill finish once again.
Fairly hilly, so there should be plenty of action. The weather conditions are excellent.
And I know I said uphill finish, but of course it flattens out there towards the end, a bit of a hill beforehand, and no in-between mountain sections or no in-between sprint points before that area, so no real reason for us to be in the breakaway. It'll be better to save up our riders here towards the end to prepare our team to make sure that we are ready for that final hill/sprint section that you have there. I know it is an in-between sprint point, but I'm pretty confident it is a hill section. And you join us just before that hill section as we are moving up. You see here the UAE team moving up in this hill, making sure that they are positioned properly and moving towards this this very steep area. As first you see here, Quintana is part of this race as well. Some of the top teams in the entire world are part of this race. Very unexpected for us, as again, we are just KoRail. You know, who are we really? Just a small Korean team fighting against these giants, among these giants, I should say. And we are now in one of the steepest parts of this climb, 10% up on this hill, and it's just getting steeper and steeper and steeper, up to 15-16% and still going up. Our riders are suffering. You see here the entire peloton is having so many issues. Riders that try to jump away a little bit before just lose all their energy immediately and suffer and move all the way back towards the end of the peloton. Riders are starting to drop off, still 1 kilometer towards the finish. You see our team slowly but surely moving up. Our riders are having issues. Our German mountain rider especially losing the wheel of Jaewon Jun. What a performance here by Jaewon Jun, actually, just riding away from the rest of our team. I'm trying to keep that train going, trying to make sure that Paul makes his best to try and get back onto the wheel of Jaewon Jun. After this, it flattens out, it goes down a little bit, so it will be perfect for our riders to regain some of that energy and do a final sprint here towards the end. One rider attacked and is away here from the peloton. It is a downhill section. I don't think we will be able to catch up to him. He's already 30 seconds away, and he just keeps on gaming. What a choice to attack here by the rider up front. No chance for us to really catch up to him. We are trying our best, of course. We do still want to win this last stage in the Tour of Alula, this 5th stage that we fought so hard to get a good positioning in. We have so many riders here in the top 10. Can we move up? Can we move up towards a podium position? Can we keep a podium position here with our team? You see here Owen Cole now sprinting from 1 kilometer to go, and with a little bit less than a kilometer, Noah Isidoro sprints from his wheel, doing extremely well here, getting a 2nd place here in the 5th stage of the Tour of Alula. An unexpected 2nd place, I should say, with this very difficult mountain just before this race, or just before this finish line. 72 riders remaining in the peloton. That means around 40 have dropped off in that section after the hill. And yeah, a 2nd place here for Noah Isidoro, our French rider, who has been doing really, really well here in this race. Our newest signee, proving that we signed him for a good reason here in the Tour of Alula. Now the rest of our team getting across the line here in 11th, 12th, and a little bit later. The 2nd place here, moving Noah Isidoro up 3 places. Great, fantastic. We do lose the 3rd spot here with Owen Cole, but we lose it due to Noah Isidoro moving up all the way to 2nd. So an improvement here from a 3rd place all the way to 2nd. The rest of our riders actually doing really well as well. Look at Jaewon Jun moving up 13 positions to move all the way up into a top 10 position here. Wow, incredible. 4 riders in the top 10 in this very difficult 2.1 race. Florian Carpentier in an 11th position, even though he is only, and this is in quotes, only a lead-out rider, right? A support rider for a team. An 11th place here in the Alula Tour by Florian Carpentier. An incredible job here by our team. 2nd and 3rd place in the points for our riders. A 3rd place in the mountain points, because that's not really our goal. And we did get a jersey in the end, a young rider's jersey here for Noah Isidoro. Incredible job here by our French rider. One of our newest signees, proving that we signed him for a good reason here. So great job by him. On to another day stage here in the Muscat Classic, a very hilly stage to be fair. We are nowhere near the top 10. It will be a very difficult one, as this is generally considered, I think, a classic race. right? Very difficult, very hilly, very tricky for these riders. Let's see if KoRail can do anything in this race.
It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race. We should have sun along the whole length of the route.
And you didn't really see that in the intro screen, but you do see it now on the little map here at the bottom right. You see all those red little areas. That will be where we will suffer. That will be where our riders will try their best to survive these tricky little hilly / mountain sections. I don't think there are really any hills anymore in these 1.1 and 2.1 races. I feel like these are all just mountains almost. I mean, they're not Tour de France level mountains, but some of these are insane in how they look. And we move here towards the end, 10 kilometers remaining. You already see that 2 of our riders have dropped off. The Italian rider and one of our hill support riders just absolutely done. One of our newest signees not doing so well here. Grégoire, our mountain rider, which I was hoping for to do well, was hoping for to survive even over this mountain and lead our team out towards the finish line, towards this downhill sprint, has dropped off already exhausted. No more energy here for our French rider. That means we have 3 riders remaining, where even Jae-won Jun is now suffering and being, the lead-out man here for this race. But we still have 6 kilometers remaining. We're only starting the hill now. 5 kilometers of a mountain, which will be very, very tricky here. All we want to do is stick up front. 2 riders remaining, which we would normally say is our B team here in this 1.1 race. Can we stick here with the peloton? You see our British rider Joseph Turnbull in the peloton, slowly but surely actually moving towards the front. A great job here by him, riding his own pace, not getting bluffed here by any of the other riders. You see some riders sprinting forward, losing their energy, then falling towards the back of the peloton. But Joseph Turnbull making sure that he sprints towards the top of this mountain. This is a very important move here by him, making sure that he's positioned all the way up front. Again, a downhill finish with 1.5 kilometers remaining. That means we need to be positioned here up front. 1 kilometer remaining. Joseph sprints here. Cole tries to sprint from his wheel but loses the wheel, and that means that he does not have a good classification here in this sprint. 2 riders from the Cofidis team moving all the way up front, winning this stage. Congratulations to them. And Joseph Turnbull, the lead out, the one that got across the hill as first, getting across the line here as third. A great job here by our British rider. Normally what I would expect to be more of a sprinter, but actually doing very, very well in these hills as well. Owen Cole, which I expected to do a little bit better here, was on the wheel of Joseph Turnbull. Should have sprinted better in that final sprint. Eventually ended up in 6th. The rest of our riders, as you can see, way down front, so no real need to take a look at that. I wish they performed a little bit better, as we went with a mostly mountain team, or a full mountain team actually, I should say. So I expected them to do a bit better. Jae-won Jun here in 65th. Grégoire Baptiste, our mountain rider, all the way in 70th. Again, wished he would do a little bit better here, our newest signee, but still not on the level of Noé Isidore, and that's okay. Probably also not the same conditioning as him. As KoRail, we did not end up in the top 3 in the team classification, but we did end up in the top 3 in the stage classification, so pretty happy with that one. Now onto the Tour of Oman. 5 races for us, starting off with this very flat race. Perfect for sprinters. I don't think they'll have much trouble surviving this hill, and all we need to focus on is maybe something between bonus seconds and that final sprint.
It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
I don't think we'll necessarily be those opportunities, as you see me trying to send out Jae-won Jun, but these races are just tricky to be in the breakaway of. Most of the time when I jump out with one of our riders, we have such a name now that we, when we try to jump out, we don't really succeed, or the breakaway just kind of holds their leg still and the peloton catches back up again. A similar thing happens here, where Jae-won Jun tries to jump away, but the peloton chases after him, catches up to him, and then takes over. So I don't want to waste too much energy here with Jae-won Jun. No need to focus on those breakaways. Let's focus on these in-between sprint points instead. Going here now towards that second in-between sprint point, sprinting with my entire team, trying to gain as many bonus seconds here as possible. And Noé Isidore here, getting across the line as first, and 2 of our other riders in second and third here with Owen Cole and Joseph Turnbull. Great job here by our riders getting those bonus seconds. Now you join us back here with 8 kilometers left to go. And yes, this will end up in a mass sprint. Exactly, commentator. Our train is going. We are leading out as well as possible. We have a couple of mountain riders here, but of course we have our sprinters here with Owen Cole and Noah Isidora as well. Noah really being, I wouldn't say abused here in this episode, but really these races he needs to prove how he's doing. He needs to prove why we signed him. He is getting used in all the races that we can because he is such a good rider, the highest classified rider of our team here in this race, needing to prove himself immediately, showing up here in these 2.1 races and 2.0 races to show what he is made of, leading out now these riders here with 2 kilometers to go. You see me sprinting relatively early. It is a bit of a cornery course, so I'm hoping to not lose too much energy in these courses, or in these corners I should say. 1 kilometer remaining, sprinting here with Owen Cole and Noah Isidora trying to jump from his wheel, but the screen moves a bit and I do not manage to click the sprint button here for Noah Isidora. So a messed up sprint here by me. Owen Cole getting across the line here as 8th, Noah Isidora getting across the line here as 15th. Not ideal here for us. I wish I did a little bit better, but the screen jumped up just as I wanted to click the sprint button for Noah Isidora, and that made it sure that I did not sprint with him very well there at the end. 3 of our riders getting across the line here around the 80th position, but everyone got across the line here as or around the same time from our team. So pretty good job there by us, and we are still fighting for a top 10 position here in this first stage. Not the ideal sprint, but I think there's plenty of other stages that we can fight in to try and move upwards. Thanks to those bonus seconds, we have 3 riders in the top 10, so I'm pretty happy with that. The other riders finishing at their finishing spots. But 3 riders in the top 10 means that we can fight for that top position. We are first in team classification as well, and somehow we have a visibility of 4. So I feel like we did really well here in this first stage, and you know, somehow we didn't really get rewarded for it. Let's see if we can change that in this second stage. Much hillier, especially that hill towards the end. I think that will be stage defining. We need to be up front. We need to be up front when we get over that hill, and then race downhill to get towards the finish line, where if our positioning is up front, we should be able to deliver a good sprint here with our riders. The in-between is not that exciting, 1 sprint point, and that's about it, so not much to show there. Let's see how we'll do in this second stage of the Tour of Oman.
There should be plenty of action. We should have sun along the whole length of the route.
Again, like most of this stage, there's not much to show for. Our riders are also very much in the peloton, so no real opportunity to go out and attack, even if I wanted to. So I would just sit here in the peloton, protect our French riders, or protect our riders, I should say, not just our French riders, and make sure that they are settled and able to have enough energy for that final mountain point. Maybe get some additional bonus seconds in the last in-between sprint point if we can. So you join us 10 kilometers before the finish line. The sprint point is just right there. We were not set up for it at all. I was just setting up my lead-out train. Most importantly is the little mountain section that finishes in about 5 kilometers. So we are heading up there right now. You see our team, again, mostly mountain riders with obviously Owen Cole and Noah Isidora, who are good sprinters as well. And just like the Muscat Classic or many of these other races, we want to be up front here in this hill section. If we can get up this hill and then be up front there, have a downhill sprint, and hopefully get across the line here as first. You see our team leading out the pack. The yellow jersey, the leader of this race, falling down, basically not being able to stay with the peloton to keep up with our tempo. So more and more riders are falling off the pack here. Our tempo is just too high. We are racing all the way towards the top of this hill. You see our riders also struggling with it, having so many difficulties. 3 kilometers remaining, and we are in front here of this peloton. We are doing extremely well, leading out our team. Still 2 kilometers remaining. I don't want to sprint too early. 1 kilometer left here. You see me sprinting with Isidora. Our entire team is there. Noah getting a bit blocked here by our riders. All our riders are kind of fighting for position here in the final part of this stage, and we do not manage to sprint very well here because all of our sprinters wanted to get towards that finish line. So in the end, all of our sprinters, or all of our riders I should say, get across the line here in a top 11 position. Really good by our team, really good result I feel for a stage, right? If you see this in a stage and you have 4 riders in a top like 9 and for 5 riders in a top 10, you would be extremely happy. But I feel like if we sprinted a bit better, or if we gave our riders a bit more space, we could have gone across the line here in a top 3 position, which is even better here for us, right? So in general, very happy with the result, even though I think we could have done better. And looking at the general classification, you see here that our riders moved down thanks to those bonus seconds not being able to be gotten earlier in the race, and those final bonus seconds at the line were also not for us. With the remainder of our riders who weren't in the top 10, we move up 40 positions. So really good here by our team. Kim Sung-bong also moving up 2 positions. A really good job here by our team, to be honest, moving up all the way here in the general classification. Again, based on the stage, an amazing result here in this stage, something to be very proud of. The general classification, not really the result that we're hoping for at this moment, but maybe something will change here in this 3rd stage. Again, a bit of an uphill finish. So again, something for our punchers, something for our riders. We have the team with us to perform here. Not really much in that middle section. I think that little hill in the middle section won't really challenge our riders, so nothing to be afraid of. The final part is what we will focus on with our team.
Greetings to all. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. The race will take place in beautiful sunny conditions.
Of course, there are sunny conditions once again here in the Tour of Oman. An amazing tour here for our riders. Plenty of sunny conditions, and I mean, let's be honest, it's much better to ride in those sunny conditions than it is in the rain, right? I tried to send out Noah Isidore here. He doesn't have the best statistics today, so I thought, why not send him out early, try and get some bonus seconds, and then move back into the peloton to prepare for that final sprint. But the moment I send him out, again, there's no other riders in this breakaway. The rest of the peloton is chasing after us, so not much of a chance here for Noah Isidore in this stage to be part of this breakaway. Some other riders trying to join him, but really nothing here that Noah can do to be part of this initial breakaway. So I don't think there's much of a chance here for this for these in-between sprint points. And as you can see here, you join us now with 10 kilometers left to go. Our sprint train is still forming. I just set everything up. We are in a bit of a downhill section here, getting ready now for that uphill finish. It is a little bit of a lull, a little bit of a downhill section where we can regain some energy, don't have to work as hard. We just need to focus on our positioning, making sure that we are up front and ready to go up this hill here. And this hill has started slowly but surely. I think it is around a 5 to 6% gradient. So I don't think it is too exciting for our riders, but it will be tough, and our positioning will matter for this race. If we are in the middle of the peloton right now, we would be suffering, and we would need to fight our way all the way up front. But, you know, 5 kilometers remaining. We still have plenty of riders here up front, plenty of energy gels to use with our 2 main riders. And still, we are not losing too much energy here in this uphill part. A bit of a flat section here, a bit of a downward section even, as you can see here. So I didn't really see that here in the map, but a bit of a downhill section, and that should move us back up front here. We are losing the wheel of our sprint train a bit. Other riders are trying to sprint ahead. Other riders are trying to attack here in this race. 1 kilometer remaining. I do a very late sprint here with Owen Cole. Noah Isidore sprinting from his wheel. Can he get across the finish line as first? Yes, he can. Very easily, actually. A great sprint here by Noah Isidore. A 2nd place for Owen Cole. What an amazing result here from our team. I sprinted a bit late here by our riders. I didn't really do a good lead out train. Some of our riders kind of lost their wheels. Some riders trying to attack a bit early. I was a bit panicked by that, but in the end we sprinted quite well here to a 1st and 2nd place in the 3rd stage of the Tour of Oman. And here you see Noah Isidore, our French rider, getting those flowers and the trophy. I think well deserved after a stage like this. An excellent sprint there towards the end, winning the 3rd stage of the Tour of Oman. I kind of repeated enough. Again, we signed this rider to perform, and he immediately starts performing in his first races. So an incredible job here by our French rider. Currently, first place in this stage, 2nd place for Owen Cole in the 3rd stage of the Tour of Oman. Plenty of bonus seconds for us as well. And it means that Noah moves up to 1st place in general classification. Amazing job here by him. I know we still have 2 races to go here in this tour, but a preliminary 1st place is a great way to start those last 2 stages. That means we need to defend a 1st place now instead of chasing after it. I think chasing after it is always a slightly better place to be in. than to just tend to defend it, because there's less pressure on you to go after it, right? But having a rider in first place and having another rider in fourth is an amazing position to be in. We are now also first and second in the points classification, all I think by accident, not really, you know, aiming for it, but hey, we'll get any bonus points and any jerseys that we get, right? It comes with more money, and more money is always good here for a small team like KoRail. Joseph Turnbull in 12th, Florian Carpentier also in a top 20 position, so pretty great for us. Let's see how this fourth stage turns out, especially with that big hill there at the end.
Hello and welcome. A day in the mountains, where the team leaders and the climbers should show what they're made of. For the others, it's going to be a day of hard labor in order to reach the finishing line.
Very hard day of labor, I think, honestly, especially with that hill towards the end. You see one of the jerseys riding out there trying to attack. I'm sending out Owen Cole to also defend and make sure that there's no riders trying to get any additional bonus seconds or any gains here on Noah Isidore. We want to make sure that he is defended here in the general classification. Once again, we are defending the lead in the general classification, and with that hill towards the end, I also don't really want to exhaust my riders too much. So in the end, what happened is that Owen Cole wasn't really able to reach the other rider, but it was okay because we caught up to that breakaway rather quickly. Now on towards that first hill section, you see that we are close towards that in-between sprint point. We get some bonus seconds here for Jae Jun and Joseph Turnbull, which I think is pretty good. And this is honestly just before the hill section, so Jae Jun is already exhausted, not ideal for him. Again, very poor statistics for him. The Tour of Oman, not his tour, -3 statistics in multiple races so far. So really not feeling very well here is our Korean mountain specialist. That means that we need to survive these last 7 kilometers with 5 of our riders. You see here a guy on the road waving the flag. Get out of the way, sir. Be careful of our riders. Don't get caught up. Some other riders already attacking. Oh, to be energetic like them. Oh, to have the power that they have. It would be amazing to have riders like that in our team, but we just need to make it towards the end of this mountain here in this fourth stage of the Tour of Oman, and it is a steep mountain at that. As you can see, a 12% gradient all the way towards the finish line. It flattens out a little bit, but what is that flattening out? 10%, 9%, still incredibly steep here with less than 5 kilometers to go. Already Owen Cole here up front. I'm hoping that our French mountain specialist will survive, but you see how quickly he is losing energy. Owen Cole is leading the pack here. Other riders are having difficulties keeping up, including our mountain specialist here. So no real chance for him to do a whole lot here in this mountain section. I wish him the best here to try and survive these last 3 kilometers with no energy. And you see me here also not wanting to push too far here with Owen Cole. I'd rather just sit in the peloton. It's still 2.5 kilometers remaining. Noah Isidore, the number 1 in the general classification, losing a lot of energy already. Still 2 kilometers remaining. We're not even close towards the top yet. Still so far to go, but I don't want to lose positioning. I want to fend off attacks. I want to try and gain bonus points. I want to get across this finish line as first. Still a kilometer remaining, and this is a very steep part here. You see the around the corner is where the finish is, but that means we need to survive this very steep corner here. Noah Isidore fully out of energy. The energy gel kicking in just at the right time, making sure that he gets a little bit of energy back. At least a sprint here by Owen Cole to try and get towards that finish line as first, but also very quickly runs out of energy with an 11% gradient upwards in this hill. Very difficult race here for our riders. Only 50 riders remaining in the peloton in the end. Do we get a top 20? Yes, a very easy top 20 here for Noah Isidore, getting across the line here in 12th. Owen Cole getting across the line here as 6th. And you see here Gregoire, our mountain specialist, still at the 1 kilometer part, 2.5 minutes off the front group. So not a great day here for him and most of our other riders in this very difficult stage. As you can see here, 6th place for Owen Cole. Many of the Jayco Lula riders here getting in the top 10. Congratulations to them. A great result, I think, for that team. The rest of our riders not doing as well 2 riders in the top 12. The rest of our riders much lower here. As you can see, the rest of our team finishing around 100th position. So really poor showing here by our team. That means that we lose the first place in the general classification. 11 seconds now off the lead. Owen Cole still has his 4th place, albeit barely here. 15 seconds off the lead. The rest of our team also moving down. We're basically losing all those positions that we gained earlier. Somehow we moved up 40 positions earlier. Now we are moving 40 down. So not great here for our team with 1 stage left to go. And this stage has a flat section towards the end. So it will definitely be a mass sprint as long as we can survive the hills before it.
Well, today we're in for a great mountain stage. Riding under such heat must be unbearable.
As you can see here, a little bit of a steep section in the beginning. We'll easily survive that as we'll stick here in the peloton. Not a lot of bonus points in the beginning of this stage either, so no real reason for us to be part of this breakaway. It's better for us to just survive these little 3 hills here towards the end. And this is also why Gregoire was feeling very poor. It's because he's sadly ill. So he's not feeling really good. He is ill. That's also why his performance in that last mountain section in the previous stage was so poor, and he lost energy so quickly, even though it should be his specialty. And that means that in this race he will also not be doing so well. Already a minute behind the peloton, and you see how much it is breaking apart. 62 riders in this main group. We are on that last hill. The other riders already 1 minute behind in the second group. We are trying to stick up front here. Many of these riders are really pushing towards that top of this hill. If they can get the top of this hill, maybe they can jump away. Maybe they can do well in that descent after this. And that means that we just want to stick up front here as much as possible. You see it is very narrow. It is very tight. We are trying to fight our way through towards the front of this hill. There is the top of the mountain. Our riders are losing so much energy already, but all they need to do is just stick on the wheel and survive. I think this is something that they can do. Quickly recover a little bit of energy to push on here in this final section. This is the last uphill section of this part. 9% gradient only, so compared to the earlier section, it was much like a breeze for them basically to go up that last section. 10 kilometers remaining now, only 50 riders remaining in the peloton. We are quite up front. I think there's still a decent group here that is a little bit ahead of us, but we are closely positioned to the front. We gained basically all our red bar back in this final section. That means that we have 4 riders for this last 6 kilometers of this race. I think there are not many other teams that have this many riders in this final part of this race, so we do have the advantage here on the other teams, trying to push on here, trying to make sure that we get a good result here in this final section. You see me moving up Jaewon Jun, as his sprinting stats are obviously not the best here in this race, or basically ever. He's much more a mountain rider, much more a hill rider, needs to perform in those uphill sections. And as this will be a mass sprint, it is only 2 kilometers remaining. That means that he can lead out these riders as well as possible. Riders on the left front, Movistar already sprinting. Owen Cole's jumping from the wheel of Jaewon Jun. Noah Isidore moving up here, jumping off the wheel of Owen Cole, but he gets passed on the inside by one of the other riders. Not doing as well as I hoped, and not winning the last stage in the Tour of Oman. A 6th place by Noah Isidore. Owen Cole getting across the line here as 10th. This is not great here for us. I was really leaning towards a good sprint here. I was really like teeing up for that good sprint, but in the end a failure by us here. Not the greatest sprint that we could have done. Again, I feel like this is still early on in the season. We are still figuring out our sprint train. Our riders are still getting used to each other, so it is okay that it is not going well here in this 2-point pro race. We fought, we did our best, and ended up in with 2 riders in the top 10 in this stage. In the general classification, that means that we do not get any additional bonus seconds, and therefore move down a position with our riders. So a rider in 4th and 5th here in the general classification. Some of our other riders moving up, but they are so far behind, it does not really matter too much. A 4th and 5th place here for our team in the general classification. I think that is something to be proud of. We win the points jersey, which is also really good by us, and the young riders jersey as well. So 2 jerseys here, and a 4th and 5th place in the general classification. That means that we end this episode here with already 700 points. We are doing incredibly well here. 4 races done, 700 points already. And from the next episode, the graph will be back as well, of course. So you can see in the graph how the riders are doing and who is performing as well as possible. If you want to see anything else, if you want to have the wins back as well this season, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's it for this episode. Thank you guys very much for watching. Our new signee Noah Isidore performing immediately and performing admirably. Hopefully he'll keep on doing that in the coming episodes, or maybe some other riders will perform as well. You'll have to find out. Thank you very much for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Catch you later. Bye bye.